Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome all of you again to these gatherings of the I Am. So, I hope this finds you well, and I would like to know how it has been for you all this month of introspection. As you have seen, I disappeared for um, for a few months. I wasn't really present doing anything. Many things had happened in my inner process. Before we start, I would like to make an introduction to what has happened to me, so um, you can understand why I wasn't really active in the social media and doing all of this. As you all for sure knew, once my stay in Egypt um, was supposed to finish, my path of the dragon would start. So the path of the dragon, in my mind, was designed in a way that I was supposed to face the earth and specific spots along the spine of the world. So I had to travel. I would have to travel to these specific spots to do these connections. But as you have seen the reality of the world today, um, when I started to make my first movement, everything shut down and it was impossible to move to some countries because they have very strong restrictions, and it was impossible to complete their requirements for me to go. So everything just went wrong, and it was impossible for me to do the path of the dragon as I have thought, as I have designed for myself. And that's why that path was cancelled as I expected for it to be. So there was a clear sign that the path of the dragon should have been taken from within. So I had to face it with my own self within. And the purpose basically was to um, follow my heart. I have to follow my heart in order to go through the path of the dragon. So, as you have seen in the social media, I followed my heart, and I have been traveling and going to places where my heart was telling to me, you have to be there, and reflect myself into the mirror of the other one. So that's what I did. So during the path of the dragon, what I did was going to these places that my heart was telling me to go. And as you have seen in the social media, it looked like if I was in a very huge holiday, like I was having fun. But actually, I was just following what my heart did, what my heart said, which was go wherever you find yourself fine, and figure out what you really want to do. So just enjoy. So this month that I have been going around, um, the path of the dragon took me to rethink myself as an individual, as thinking and organizing what I want to do as Matias, as an individual, as I was able to plan all the things that I am aiming to do in the next years, and trying to accomplish something with my own life, not doing planetary missions only, but also with my own life, myself. So in this time, one of the main things that I got um, is that these planetary activations and all these kind of things that I am doing is not what I am really aiming to do. It's not what I really want to do. Um, is something that I feel that I must do, um, but it's very different from what my personality really wants to accomplish in this reality. So I had to recognize that difference. So recognizing this difference um, between what I want to do and what I must do, it was something that hit me very strong in these months in the path of the dragon, because when you are pulled to follow your heart, you suddenly understand that it's not, maybe your heart doesn't want to do all this of the planetary activation. My heart wanted to do something very different, to live a different life. And in the other hand, um, I feel that I must do what I am doing. So I was wondering, so what is truth? What should I follow, my heart or what I should do? So I guess that that many of us who are in the path of consciousness and in the path of awakening have this uh, thought of, if I have to follow my heart, should I do what I want to do, or why I have this pressure of doing something bigger or whatever. So I think that this is the great dilemma that we have usually. That is, what should I follow? Do I have free will to choose if I follow my heart or my mind, my soul or my spirit? And we have spoken about this during this whole year, that there's nothing like free will, actually. Uh, there's nothing like um, I will do whatever I please in my life. The reason why we don't have free will is because the heart is the pulse of will that moves us forward. But this pulse of will needs energy. And the energy comes from this great synapses of a great network that connects everything, that pushes every heartbeat. So if that network is disconnected, the energy that pushes the wheel of the heart doesn't have um, strength. There's no synapses that push us forward. So this is something that transcends our heart, that transcends our personalities. This means that the will that every heart has to choose a path can be only done by the energy that is provided by this network in which we are all connected. So this personal free will that allows me to choose my desires, my wishes, depends on the energy of a huge network that transcends myself. And if that network breaks up, So there is no energy for those hearts to be able to push forward, to beat and choose their own path. This is why the people that can feel the network, that is aware of the network, recognize that we cannot choose to follow our heart until every heart of the world is connected. So this is why the connections that we are trying to do with the network, they go beyond the idea of becoming conscious, aware. It is basically to connect every heart so we can be free to choose how to follow it. There are many things that we can speak about the network of consciousness and how it works and how we can work with it and make it happen. But actually, I would like for us to begin with the concept, with an idea that is very important for us to understand before we do whatever we are going to do. The important thing that I want to share with all of us today is that this task that we are going to do in February should not be made by people that is aware or enlightened or conscious about many things. It is much more about unconscious people that set the intention of connecting our hearts so we can connect the network to enable the consciousness. That's why we are all unconscious people doing this. So I'm saying this sentence that I said before, because of my own experience in these past 3 months, in which slowly I started to feel that I cannot connect with anything. Nothing. I cannot feel nature. I cannot feel spiritual beings. I have no clue what is going to happen in February. Nobody's talking to me. I have no idea of anything. And I'm not feeling any void. It's not like existential void or something like this. No, nothing. It's like talking about taxes and organization and I just go to special spots in the planet trying to connect and sit and meditate and just feeling my blood in the brain, and that's it. I can't feel anything, like totally disconnected from everything. And besides this feeling that I have of disconnection, that that I have no, well, basically, I have no clue what to do if I am disconnected. I work being disconnected. I work being connected. So I don't know how it's to be normal. So this past month has been like, what do I do? I can't feel anything. I don't know how to connect. Um, so I was like trying to figure out what to do. Uh, and I was really afraid because that's what I do is being connected. So I'm really worried because I had no clue what to do. Even though I'm disconnected, things are going great. I'm not doing anything, not pushing anything, and everything um, is just going perfectly. Like nothing to do, and everything goes fine. So there's nothing else but trust, because now it's not about what I am going to do, it's about what all of us are going to do. Um, what each one of us is going to do. We have been sharing a year of data information to prepare us for this task. So we, you know what to do. You actually know, and I think that now it's our turn to show that we all can do something, even if we don't understand it. And when I was having these feelings, I received a message from someone that sent me a book, a sentence from a book written by a channeling from Anna, the grandmother of Jesus, that she was explaining the importance of the Great Pyramid in Egypt and how this pyramid is a machine that eventually will be activated again by thousands of people that could gather around it to um, to activate all this. Um, and immediately, I thought about this sentence because I was feeling disconnected, and I said, "It's really us doing this." So suddenly, I thought, "Wait a moment. It's only a network of unconscious people willing from the heart that unite themselves with the will of the heart are the only ones able to connect a network of consciousness." Más resumidamente. So, with this, I want to make the summary of everything that I just said. So, as a summary, I would say in a network, every node is a heart, and every line that connects every one of the hearts are the path that the heart would take in their life. But if this network is disconnected, that means that there's no movement between those hearts. So the entire network of connection is what we call consciousness, when every one of the hearts is connected. But now it's all disconnected. So each one of the hearts are unconscious. So it takes a group of hearts that are willing to connect with themselves to reestablish the network so we can have consciousness. So this month, being disconnected and feeling like not being able to feel the whole network, but just being one dot, lost there around, like unaware of everything, was like feeling, okay, now I understand that I am an unconscious being willing to connect a network. And if I do that with all the others, I can reestablish my path, connecting the entire network of consciousness from my unconsciousness. not trying to understand, because my mind says, I don't get anything. I don't know why I'm doing this. So that's why we just have to unconsciously follow our hearts that says, but I feel it. So I want to remind you that our trip to Egypt in February is divided in 5 elements. And tomorrow I will start going into the details of these elements and the history of all that. But today I just want to go around the idea. Um, what we are going to do in Egypt is a gathering of unconscious hearts that are willing to connect a network from love towards wisdom, becoming conscious. This gathering is calling the hearts, not the minds. And for this, we don't need in Egypt and in the network people thinking that they don't worth it, that I don't know if I can get it, if I can understand it, if I am afraid of not being enough. Those are thoughts from our minds. And the only thing that we need in this gathering is the heart, is to be, to stay present, to follow what you are. So get rid of those thoughts of not being enough or being at the high of the expectations, not understanding. That's not what we are doing in Egypt. It's not what we are preparing ourselves for. We just have to be there, feel with our entire heart. So by following our hearts, I want I want to remind you that we are going there for the elements, for the nature, for we are going there for the land of Egypt, even if you are not there, even if you are not there physically in Egypt, you are putting your intentions in that territory. So from my heart, what I'm going to ask to all of you is don't go to Egypt because of me. I know that many of you already know why you're going there, but I also know that many of you are thinking, I want to go there because Matias is doing this, or I want to go to this gathering because I want to meet Matias, or because he's going to channel, or because I have a history with him, or I have memories, or I want to talk to him. Please, from my heart, I will ask to all of you to not do that. If you go there, go with your heart for earth, connected to the elements of nature. And with this, I just want to tell you the short story of what happened when we went to Egypt in 11/11 to do the activation. So every time that we did a gathering, we first go to specific spots around that land to ask for permission to the elementals, to the beings that live there, and Um, um, so we um, we usually go to those places to move the energy, to ask for permission, to tell them what we're going to do. So this is what we have done in 1111 when we went to these portals of Egypt, to where the energy comes to Giza. So what happened there with the elementals? First, you have to understand that the elementals are not just angels or light beings. They are very tough creatures, and um, they just are um, very um, heavy beings that can that are not always that good. You know, they try to survive. They administrate energy and so on. So what happened there and calls my attention was that they were really mad, and the they were really afraid that all of us would go there to take things and not give things, not bring love and recognition, but just going there to take. And they were saying they were worried that we are not going there to offer, to share, and to recognize, but to just take away. So what happened in 1111 was really strong, because I was literally taken by the beings from the elemental world, and it was really tough, really hard, because even today for me, I feel like if it was a trauma. I felt like from that moment I felt disconnected, because I felt like this trauma of um, being being repressed, uh, of not feeling that again. They just pull me down, and I was disconnected for 2 days. My soul was not in the body. I was outside in the underground with them, and it felt like kidnapped, and it was horrible. And they were crying through me, and I've never cried that way. It was like painful and shouting. I don't usually cry like this. um, I was feeling so, um, and the things that they were saying was that usually uh, people um, went to these territories to take, and they said, we are the keepers of this information. We don't want to for people to come back following others, not recognizing the elements that are keeping the information, and they just grab the things and go away. So they were literally crying because of that, because they felt like they were being grabbed and mm, part in pieces. And so when that happened, it was like um, the feeling that I got, the message that I got from them was, we are um, going there not to take anything. I I promised them to tell all of you who will go to Egypt that we are not going there following anyone, that you will not come just for me. that you will come for the land, for the elements, for the keepers of the real information and knowledge in that territory, which is the elements. So, and also I promised that I would tell to all of you that you would go to give love to them and not take anything from them. That's why I get very serious with this, because I am not willing for anything wrong to happen in Egypt while we are doing there our things. So this is why I ask for your help to letting everyone know and reminding everyone in your groups, whatever element you represent, um, to tell everyone that you are not coming for me or because it's Egypt, that you are going there for the elements, that you are going there for the nature, for yourself, with your heart. So now I will introduce what we are going to do in the next days. So first of all, today in this next half hour, I will make an introduction of what is the event, what is going to happen in the event. So we all know basically the summary of it. Tomorrow we will talk about the history of why are we going to do this in February, to have all the ideas of where it started and why are we doing all this from the historical point of view. So the third day, we will talk about the network and the nodes, which means that all the how the network is composed and each one of the nodes that you are going to represent. Okay, so we will talk about these things specifically. So the fourth day, we will talk about the elements, meaning to understand the 5 elements, to understand how to relate with them, how to become them, how to give them love, energy, so you can take the information from them, and so on. Okay, so all that information regarding the elements. So the 15th, the 5th day, we will talk about ether. So all the people that is going to be in the group ether in the network, what is ether, how we are going to work, what do we have to do, all that information that the ether people has to have, we will talk that on the 15th. So the day 6th, we will talk about the groups and the letters. So we will talk about each one of the 45 letters that represents the groups. We will explain why do we have these 45 groups. Then why do we have trinities in the names? So for example, you have the group M, H, and S, which is the name with the trinity Mahas. So why? What is Mahas, what is each one of the names, what do they represent, and why they are going to enter in the pyramid together. And of course, a little bit more about the 32 nodes that in each group you will represent. So another thing that we are going to talk about this that day, I guess, will be about the what happens if some people doesn't go to Egypt in the last moment, or we don't have enough people to fill up all the nodes. So we're going to talk about that because anything could happen. We don't have now all the people to fill up all the groups. So who knows? So we are going to explain what are we going to do if we don't have one or more persons representing the nodes. Okay. So the day 7th, we will talk about Merkaba. We will describe what is the Merkaba, how to use it, what are the parts of it, how to activate it. We will go through all of that because the Merkaba is the vehicle that we are going to use for for the activations inside the pyramid. Okay, so you have to know how to use it in order to do a proper activation inside the pyramid. So while the 7th in the Merkaba, we will try to understand from the mind how it works. The 8th, January 18th, we will work with the activation of all of that. So it will be a practice day in which we have to practice a little bit how to activate that, how is the positions and all that. Okay, so it will be much more active that day to practice. So the day 9th, which is 19th, we will talk about the activation inside the pyramid. So what are we going to do in the pyramid? How are we going to work in the pyramid? What are the times we are going to get in the pyramid? How it is to go inside? What happens if I am claustrophobic? All the questions and all the things that we need to know in order to get inside the pyramid, we will talk in the 19th. So the day 10th, we will talk about the specific task that each element will have. So so what the water has to do, what the earth, what the fire, what the air, and of course ether, we already spoke about it, but we will go back into it a little bit. So the day 11th, which will be the 21st, we will talk about the activation in the Sphinx. So we will explain everything you need to know for that moment, because it says it's going to be a concert, musical concert, but we are all going to be in groups, and we are all going to work together. So it's not that you are just going to stare there and listen to music. No, we are all going to do something there. So that day I will explain exactly what we will do. And the day 22nd, we will talk about the intentions and the future, which means what are the intentions of that we are going to set for everything that we're going to do, so we can build and download the ideas for the future, and of course to answer some doubts, questions that you might have from all the information that was explained before. See, as you see, we will gonna have a lot of information. So I would ask you to pay a lot of attention to these 11 days, because these days are going to be the preparation to understand everything that we are going to do in Egypt. I don't want anyone arriving to Egypt, opening the door and saying, what is this? What should I do? No, these 11 days are the preparation. So when you get there, we start to work. So we set all our bodies and our spirits and soul into our job there in Egypt. So nobody needs to explain anything there. Okay, so these days are going to be to prepare you for what is going to happen in Egypt. So first of all, take note on this. I would recommend to all of you to read in the blog josoy.red, in the blog, to read the part that says project. Okay, where you read project, you have there keys, stages, history, and information. Read all of that. It's not much, so read all of that so you can have again this idea of what we have been doing, mm, during all this year of the IAM. Remember that all information is there also in English, so you can translate it and you can check it also in other languages. Also, I would recommend for all of you to read the part that says, in the beginning, when you just open the website, uh, you will see you will see a part that says "Welcome to the Access of the World." So go there, read that, so you can refresh the data, okay, of what we have been doing this year and so on. So please read that, check all that information. Um, so remember that in Egypt there will be four different groups present there physically, which is water, fire, earth, and air. And in the ether through internet will be ether. So ether is the group that we will send a link so you can join each one of the connections, the alignments, and all information, so you could understand uh, through where you can follow the event. Um, So important for all of you to know, because everyone is asking this. Egypt is not asking for any vaccination. So you don't need any vaccination in order to get inside Egypt. Okay? You just need a PCR. So you need a PCR to get in Egypt, and you need a PCR to get out from Egypt if your country asks you to. Um, Remember, so that maybe your country is asking a vaccination for you to travel, but it's not the case of Egypt. So don't worry about needing a vaccination. No need. So important thing to know, Egypt is not asking for any vaccination, not even yellow fever, nothing. Okay. The only one that asks for yellow fever vaccination is Ethiopian. So if you are going to fly through Ethiopian, they will ask you for that vaccination. But it's not Egypt, it's Ethiopia that asks for the vaccination. Okay. So don't worry uh, about vaccinations in Egypt. You don't need any of them. Hmm? Only PCR. So a PCR when you get in and a PCR when you get out. So just for you to know, um, maybe from the organization, we in some of the groups, water and fire mostly, earth and air, no, you will have to look it by yourself. But air and water, we fire and water, we can arrange for the PCR test for the people that are coming. Okay, so not paying it, we are not going to pay for it. We just can arrange for someone, so you could do it. So we will notify all of this. Okay. Remember that PCR is a test that you have to make to see if you are positive or negative in the um, with COVID. I remind you that fire, earth, and air still can subscribe for the gathering. You can still do it. We have place for everyone, so you can still do it. Ether does not need for an inscription to be part of it, okay? Because it's free in internet. So, but the other three groups, you can still do it. Hmm? Remember that earth and air are only paying for the event and some added stuff that you might have. But Fire has all included. Okay, everything is included. Everything, hotel, everything is included in Fire. Another thing, remember that that Fire, we still have place for Fire. You can subscribe um, for Fire, um, but the price will change because we said that we close the inscriptions with the same price that we have given at the beginning. Um, it was last year. Okay, so from November, late November last year, you won't have the same price. Okay, now the people in the prices of the hotels and everything has changed this year, so you will have to pay a bit more to Egypt, not to us, to the hotel and and all the services there. Okay, so if you decide to subscribe now, you have to know that you will pay a bit more because of the changes in the hotel and services in Egypt. Okay, so I have no clue what is the supplement for the payment because prices are changing according to what is happening in Egypt. So I remind you that if you want to subscribe, do it as soon as possible because the groups are already working together. They are already divided in WhatsApp groups and sharing information to prepare themselves to get inside the pyramid and to do everything there. Um, so uh, so if you are part of the of fire and water, you already are part of one of those groups. So I remind you all that the website in which you can subscribe for the event and you have all information about the event is in yosoy2022.org. Okay, that's the website where you find everything and you can subscribe there for the group that you place the most. Why? Don't write to anyone in Egypt. Nothing from the outside of that web will be taken seriously. Okay? So if you want to be part of that, you have to subscribe through the website. Hmm? Um, so just go through that or write to the RCN Foundation. Um, Another last thing that I wanted to say is that um, something that I sent in a message to everyone that is already part of the event through WhatsApp. I sent to everyone that is working already for the event, which is that this is not a holiday. This is not a holiday where you will have time to rest for your ego. Okay, we are going there to work. That's what we are going to do there. And I will explain why I'm saying this. So the reason why I say this is because we have been receiving a lot of messages from people saying, I want to be in the same group as my sister or my friend. I want to be I want to be with my family. Uh, I don't know, I don't like the person that is in the group with me, all these kind of things. Other things is like, I want to be in the same group as Matias. There's no group in which I'm going to be there. I'm going to talk to everyone. There's no group in which I will be guiding. So I would recommend to leave all these things of the ego behind for a little moment. As I said, it's important for you to know that we are going there to work, that you will have 4 hours of work with this, and then you are free to be with whoever you want to be. Okay, you can be free, but these 2 hours every day that you will have to work with a person, and then 1 hour and a half that you are going to be with other people inside the pyramid. Okay, so just leave your ego aside for a little moment and go there with your heart, willing to work with everyone. Okay, so um, think about it for a moment before you complain. Hmm? Okay, I will describe every task of everyone um, in every day, but just wanted to remind you that the task will start February 9th. Okay, February 9th, which means that some people will arrive later, of course. The group fire, the group air will arrive later. But uh, but the task of all of us together with intention will begin the day 9th. Okay, so the day 9th, we will all start to work together. Which means that I will need that everyone from each one of the groups from that day must start to set the intention of uniting, of connecting with everyone all together as a whole. So it's not like I'm part of the group Earth, so I don't care what the others are doing before. Okay, no, we are all part of the same group, and that day we start to get in touch to one another. Hmm? So the group water will go through all the Nile, and from the day 19th, the other groups arrive. From the day 19th, February 19th, we are going to be all together physically in Egypt. So we start to work all as one physically. But remember, from the day 9, um, we start to follow the group of water with intention through the social media, um, supporting the ones that we are going to be in the Nile, bringing the information. So from noon, the day 19th, all the groups will be um, formed together and we will start working. We will begin. From 9 p.m. that night, we start to enter the Great Pyramid. So we are going to be um, every night will be 5 groups, and in each group we're going to be 100 people, 100 people. Okay, so so every night, 19, 20, 21, 5 groups of 100 people will go inside the pyramid, and I will be there um, inside. So the work that you will do with me will be inside the pyramid, not outside. Okay, so it will be 5 groups every night, 5 nights, 3 nights, so 5 groups. So 500 people every night, and I will spend 8 hours every night inside the pyramid working with you. We're going to go into detail with this for each group. The day 22nd, we at 15 hours, sorry, at 3 p.m., we will start moving to the new location where we are going to be doing the concert. And it will be in buses, so by bus. Each group will have its own bus. So the group M will have it will have the bus with the letter M. So everyone has to everyone that is M, the 32, the 33 that are from the group M will go to that bus always. Okay, perfect. So once we start talking about each one of the tasks that each element will have, um, we will um, we will go through the schedule of each one of yours. So don't worry about it. So remember, I am not gonna have any group specific group that will be with me. I will be only in the pyramid and doing the meditations for all of you after 4 p.m. Okay, so from 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., don't look for me. I will be sleeping because from 4 p.m. then we start the all together the meditations. Then we go to the pyramid um, the 3 nights. So I remind you that we have place still because a lot of people, we were almost full with the event, but because of some countries' restrictions and some people being afraid, scared about the new viruses or so, they canceled and they just um, cancel. They are not coming. So we are always having places for you to join. Hmm? Well, I that's all I had to say for today. Remember that the next 11 days um, we will have all the data, all information. I will explain each one of the steps, as I said. So don't worry, you will have all the information you need in these next days to prepare for this huge gathering and unique gathering that we are going to have in February. Because believe me, this is a unique event. Because believe me, we are not going to organize anything else like this in Egypt ever. So I don't know if anyone will dare to do something like this again, but it's not us. So uh, really, this is the only chance and opportunity to live something like this in Egypt. So uh, if you can, take the chance. And we are all one. So if anyone there got COVID, let's do the activation with fever. So thank you all for being there always and again here with me daily to prepare for this event. Thank you all. And as always, see you tomorrow at the same time.